Hello. Ugh. Hi, welcome back. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've done a YouTube live. It's been longer than I wanted it to be. Sorry about that. It's been a time. Not that anybody needs me to tell you that the world's a mess, but just in general, just for me, for everybody, it's been a little bit of something the last little bit. So glad to see you guys. Thanks for coming. There was a part of me that was like, if nobody shows up, that's fine. I would understand. So thanks for being here. The my like the overall energy right now is so interesting. It's interesting, and that's the best word I got for it. Because so we just had the Aries ingress, right? So that's the like solar new year, right? Like astrology wise, it's now like the last of the new years. We had the calendar new year, and then we had the lunar new year, and now we have the solar new year. So we're freshly, fully, properly in the new energy. And I can feel the shift. It doesn't feel that different, but it's different enough. It's different enough that I will take it. Um, yeah, there are so many things in like I'm not gonna do a whole run through chart analysis just because I would have had to have prepared that, and there are astrologers who are better at astrology than me who have done that. But just energetically, it does genuinely feel like a new year now, finally, because it never feels like the new year to me in January. It's just, I've said this before. I think the new year, I'm like, this is not an original thought, but the new year feels like the new year when it starts to feel like spring a little bit. And I'm aware that it doesn't feel like spring for everybody, but if you're in the South, it feels like spring. It's a mix back and forth between it's still like a little bit wintry and it feels like spring now, and I'm taking it. It's just everything, yeah. Everything has the fresher energy. I saw little chipmunks running around. I saw more of the like little tiny rabbits, and a full grown rabbit the other day. There's just like as soon as the animals and things start running around, I'm like, okay, the world's good. I mean, I love fall. I love. This is gonna come as a huge shock to everybody who that a Scorpio likes the part of the year where everything's kind of dead. But like I specifically like the part of the year where everything's dying. I like fall. I like the transition periods. I like fall and spring in that order better than summer and winter in that order. So we've got a lot of there's still a lot of like big change that's in the middle of happening that is not a surprise to anybody. I do have the chart up here. Uh, it's like right now. So Aries ingress, yes, New Year, but also right now. Oh my God, my charts are so. I need to clean this up. There's so many things here. Uh, there, that's better. The sun is now at like 6 degrees of Aries because it's been a few days, but it's also like right on top of Saturn, which is not the most freeing. It does in a way, so that can have. Please ignore and or embrace the jingling sounds of the cat playing with the cat toy in the background. I normally obviously do this in the other room, but I just felt like I like doing the desk lives sometimes, and so I just felt like that would be the vibe today. Did not consider cat toys as a as a result of that, but yeah. So when the sun is really really close to a planet, it's actually like it can be under the beams, or it can be like essentially combust. It can be in a certain level of detriment because the sun is so close to it and the sun is so powerful. So I am going to attempt to show this. I don't know how well this is going to go. But yeah, you can kind of see. So looking at all those things over there, the Sun and Saturn are kind of in the middle and they're right on top of each other. 4 degrees and 6 degrees of Aries. So if anything, like when because Saturn is considered a malefic, it could be a good thing that yeah, Casio. I like Casio better than Kazemi. They're not quite Kazemi. They were a couple days ago. But yeah, so as soon as it's out of Kazemi, then it's back like under the beams, or I forget if that's the correct term or if it is combust, or it's one of those things. But yeah, I like Casio better. um, but yeah, so it's nice to have the new energy, but the new energy is not like fully free and clear and everything. Saturn's right up in there, screwing with everything. But that's Saturn. That's what he does. I'm so glad Mercury is direct, though. This was the craziest Mercury retrograde. Full stop. Like, I've heard so many people say it, and I am just echoing the sentiment that this past Mercury retrograde was one of the most intense and most noticeable Mercury retrogrades, and that's been happening kind of a lot lately. Like a couple of Mercury retrogrades ago, I was like, wow, this is the biggest Mercury retrograde I've felt in a while. And then this past one that just ended, the amount of technical problems, the amount of like, even though Mercury is direct now, all of the stuff with the airports and the TSA and everything that's still happening, it's a mess. Everything's a mess. I don't need to keep repeating that everything's a mess. It's just, I just feel it so deeply because it's so true. It's just, we're all fighting for our lives here, Mercury. If you could just cut us a break. And Mercury's trying. Now Mercury is trying. Was not trying at all for a while there. Has also, Mercury and Mars are pretty close together. They're not on top of each other. They're about 9 degrees apart right now. So we're not in the worst shape for that, but Mercury is on top of the North Node. So North Node being in Vedic astrology, they refer to it as like the head of the dragon. So it's like, I am reading that right. That is the North Node. Yes, that is the North Node. Being the North Node, like, is insatiably hungry and consumes everything, and it's not like technical difficulties with Mercury, but it would be like probably a time suck is the way that I would refer that, where like Mercury wants to go fast and the North Node is the head of the dragon sitting on top trying to chase Mercury around and eat it and just like being distracting and causing issues. So we've still got some problems to deal with, but we're doing our best. They're doing their best. Pray to Hermes. That's all I got. Because everybody who follows me has to deal with Hermes, apparently. You can't avoid it. I'm so sorry. If you're around me, you will run into Hermes, and he will make himself present in your life, and he will ask for coffee, and then your life might go a little bit easier for a minute. But yeah. I mean, yeah, the amount of just like technical difficulties and the amount of everything that Mercury retrograde had, I'm just breathing the biggest sigh of relief that it's over. And I do, part of my experience of fresh new year energy is, oh yeah, he's absolutely around. I didn't light any candles because I'm not in the room with all the candles, and I don't want to leave a candle unattended, but he's always around. He never leaves at this point. Like, I'm kidding, he leaves, but like, he's waiting. He's always paying attention. Hermes saved you at the airport? Good. Yeah, that's right, you were traveling this week, weren't you? How did that go? You're not the only one, but everybody else that I know seems to have done okay. Did you do okay? If Hermes saved you, at least you got saved. Get him cheesecake with strawberries. That's sweet. I do like that. Yeah, I think he likes kind of anything sweet in my experience. I know we were talking about this in our chat the other day, but just like genuinely, I think Hermes just has a sweet tooth. So anything, I mean, you could absolutely give Hermes a Red Bull if you wanted to. Uh, Honestly, I should do that. I don't buy Red Bull, but if I did buy, if I kept Red Bull around, Hermes would be getting a weekly Red Bull or something. It was crazy, yeah. I'm sorry it sucked, but I'm sorry it was intense, but I'm glad you're okay. Yeah, exactly. Ain't Hermes a swell guy? I'm like, I gotta lay off a little bit. Apollo's gonna get jealous. Gee willikers. I kid. I say that sometimes, just, but also like I'm not kidding. They both know it. They're brothers. They fight. They're both searching for the spotlight at any given second. But my thing, what I've been doing the last just couple days, that does feel like a sort of new leaf, new year kind of a thing, as I've been doing like channeled writing, like not just like I do channeled writing occasionally for like as a meditation, as a like way to find a new figure out new information. There's all kinds of stuff. But like I've been like actually writing like in the way of like this could one day become a book. Don't get excited. I have written like 6 pages. But but I've had this idea for a book for a while that is intended to be channeled writing, and I've like actually gotten started on that in the last couple of days, and that's been a really nice exercise for me to do long form channeled writing and not just, I don't think I've ever done it for longer than an hour or so, and actually like I'm still doing it in roughly 1 hour chunks, but I've put about 3 hours in total, and just sitting down and letting words flow through. Like I've heard so many authors and like authors, but also like the sort of the normal spiritual self-help metaphysics area of things, the kinds of people you would expect to talk about channeling a book or whatever. I've heard all those people talk about the process of channeled writing and or channeling a book, and it always sounds to me like, the description of the freaking golden plates or whatever with Mormonism, and the because we don't know how, like, because we don't have a source saying this is how the Bible was written and this is what they were doing while they were writing these books or whatever, and because the Bible was like not written in English and blah blah blah. Like the Bible would theoretically be, I would assume, would be partially channeled writing, but we don't have stuff like that. But we have that for like Mormonism and the golden plates and the Book of Mormon and blah blah blah, blah, and a bunch of other new age religions and things like that. Human design is another one where like that entire system was born out of channeled writing, and like I think an acid trip or something, like it's not, I'm not saying it's the best the best example, but it's a really interesting experience for me now, starting with this process and starting with like having a relatively clear goal and like a sort of a thesis in mind, and having like the spiritual tap in connection to like specifically my higher self, and just writing away from there and just starting. And it's been really exciting, and it feels really good. It feels like the way, it feels like a flow state, the same way that like playing music does, or the same way that like even more than playing music, it feels almost like, and this is gonna sound crazy, but it feels almost the same as singing, except that you're not using your breath. Like there is this thing of like, either in a choral setting or as a soloist or whatever, but as someone who has sung a lot in their life, there's this flow that happens in singing that doesn't happen with anything else, and it's all super super connected. Like, and it is because you're using your body and you're using your breath and you're using all these things, And I've experienced the flow state in a bunch of different ways. I've experienced flow state with drawing and with designing, like on the computer, all these other things. But none of those feel the same kind of connected that singing does, except for channeled writing, apparently. And that's like a fascinating, fun little tidbit. So I can actually, without necessarily, because it's not going to be any fun for me to just sit here and read you what I've written so far, and it's gonna eventually, if it doesn't become a book, then it'll become a little pamphlet or booklet or zine type thing, whatever. It'll exist somewhere, some way, somehow, at some point. But it does mean that I was channeling through like the specific stages of death because that's what my higher self is very directly connected to. I'm laughing at the, now I know what happened to my banana pudding is so funny. I saw it when it came in, but I had already started talking, and now I'm just I'm also curious about the banana pudding. But I'm going to try to stay on topic for a second, and then I might ask you to tell that story. But yeah, so I was channeling in what all the specific stages of death are and what happens at all of the stages. And there's a lot of overlap, right? And part of this is, you know, I think a lot of us do have an interest in near-death experiences and the people who have like gone and come back and what all these different people who've had these kinds of experiences say and what's similar and what's different. And as someone who's never had one, but who is connected to these kinds of underworld entities all the time, I was just like, let's give my crack at it. Let's see what I can pull out of that process. And I've done a skim through of it before, but this was as I was in the process of doing the channel writing, sitting down for like an hour and writing out everything. And some of the pieces, because when you're hearing people talk about near-death experiences, why do I have two? Sorry, my computer has two cursors for some reason, and one is frozen, so one's not real. That's fine. But I did not think I was going to get distracted by literally just the cursor on my computer. It's fine. I don't have ADHD. What are you talking about? Okay. Stages of death. Yes. Okay. And near-death experiences. So one of the near-death experiences that I heard that was like the most interesting to me, and I've looked for it, and I've tried to find it again because it's fascinating, and I can't freaking find it anywhere. I'm like, it was a guy talking on a podcast, or like, it might have even been a reviewing of a book that somebody wrote, but it was a hospital chaplain. And so, like, he was a Christian, and then he had a near-death experience in the hospital, and instead of, like, meeting Jesus or God or something, instead, he was greeted by, like, a giant boar woman who tried to eat him. It was like, hey, brother. That's a unique... And this was on, like, a pagan-specific podcast, so he's like, he very clearly had that experience and was like, oh, I'm not a Christian anymore. Because that was not that. And so he did come back. I don't remember if he actually got eaten in the near-death experience or not. But it was just, yeah. I think he must have been... I think he was some kind of Nordic ancestry and stuff. Something, but... or it might have been... Balkan. That sounds more right. That might have been it. But anyway. I have never heard another near-death experience story quite like that that specific one, because that was, yeah, just deeply fascinating. I've never heard anybody else have their near-death experience be they got almost eaten by a giant boar entity, which it sounds very Terry Pratchett, to be so for real. It sounds like Discworld stuff. Like, it sounds like the Hogfather, but for death, right? Like, this is not the Grim Reaper. This is not Jesus. This is a hog slash woman the entity thing. Extremely, like, this is why I was trying to find it again, because I was trying to find the reference to be like, did they ever find a myth that this matched up to? But I couldn't find it. But that being one of the experiences that somebody has, I was like, okay, that can't be normal. There's no way that's normal. Because if it was, everybody who had a near-death experience would have something like that, where some people just have the out-of-body, like, and some people just have the review, the, like, life review. So it's like, we know, I had wondered if it was Freya, if it was Freya connected or something, right? Like, that's why, again, I literally heard this story probably 7 or 8 years ago on a podcast. It was like in my first 3 or 4 years of all of this stuff. So it might have been my first year. I don't know. But it just stuck with me so hard. Because I'm like, this is the coolest, craziest thing I've ever heard. So, like, other near-death experiences, some people get struck by lightning, and then those people do, like, see a god or see something like that. And some people just have their body is floating, you know, up in the corner of their hospital room, and they're looking down at themselves in the hospital bed. Like, there are all kinds of different near-death experiences, and I've never heard another one like that. And I was like, I so want the answers to this. I want to know, is Hermes messing with my tech currently? Nothing looks bad to me currently, but if there's something going on, let me know. I'm not getting any alerts for technical issues or anything, but so anyway, so I was just trying to, I was really trying. I got a good channeled response for the process of death and what happens and everything. I still can't explain the boar woman. That guy just must have really needed a wake-up call or had a really intense guide or something. It is acting up a little. Okay. What if I turn that down? Okay. Give me 1 second to just turn off all background noises. Because I'm just like, maybe that fan over there is getting picked up or something. Warbling? Oh no, that's bad. Okay, well we'll see. I don't have any alerts or anything on my side to indicate that there's anything wrong. So let me know if it gets better, and if it doesn't get better and it's really annoying, you know, we'll know better. Dang it. Minor. Okay. That's better. Okay. We'll yeah, let me know if it's still an issue in like 5 minutes, but if not, then we'll assume it's good. But yeah. Better. Okay, good. I'll keep that in mind if I do more desk lives. I like, this is gonna make me sound deeply old, and I know that y'all are gonna hate me for saying that because I'm not quite 30 yet. But my other live setup, which I love sitting in front of my like magical desk area. That's not like my real, uh, not my real desk, but my magic desk. Right, I love sitting over there and doing stuff. But I sit on the ground, and it does kind of hurt getting down and getting back up from sitting on the ground sometimes. And I'm just like, I will just do my live at my desk and I'll be more comfortable and I won't be in pain afterwards. It's not bad. It's fine. I'm not complaining. It's just that's part of the reason that we're over here, but the fan over there didn't occur to me. So anyway, back to the point of things. I feel as though maybe I should. It is happening again. Dang it. I don't have anything else I can do about it, so is it Hermes? He's like chuckling, but he's not being like, "Yeah, it's me," he's just like, Okay. Also, hi. I haven't said hi to you yet. Hi, Hermes. Hi, Hermes. How you doing? Oh, are you what? Not he just he just starts going off. It's not a great time to have a real conversation. We are on a live right now. I guess we could chat. Do you have things to say? If you have things to say that are at equally or more important than what I was gonna say, I guess I can just talk to you. You also just want the attention. Yeah, yeah. That because what else would be the answer except for that? Okay, yes. No, I know I haven't given you an offering in a minute. It's been a minute. I understand. uh I could make you a decaf coffee after the live. I don't and then we'll share it. How about that? Might be he wants a Hermes chat day. Hermes chat Faye would be funny though. Like a Faye that's exclusively just like a little Hermes radio and just tunes in and channels in, and whenever they're not channeled in, they still just act just like Hermes. That'd be funny. That probably exists. It's probably not like a Faye. It's probably a nymph or something. I was gonna say dryad, but I feel like the dryads have enough stuff to do. But anyway, yes. Okay, so you want coffee? Got it. Anything else, Mr. Hermes, sir? You got. You've taken over. So, is there anything else you want while we're here? Just saying hi. Came by to chat. Okay. And if you could tell everybody, what? What do you? Are you fucking serious? He's like, and if you could tell everybody to like order me something on DoorDash, I'm like, oh, you're funny today. Oh, really? Oh my god. All right, everybody, chip in. We're DoorDashing Hermes some pizza, I guess, or something. I don't know. What address are we sending this to, Hermes? Are we just? Oh, you can have it sent here. Okay, so you're trying to make me buy us pizza? Is that what's happening right now? It's 9 p.m. I don't know how many of the pizza places are open. This is hilarious. Okay. I'm dead. I am also going to go back and actually read the. Yeah, literally, it's. Are you gonna pay for the pizza? It's gonna cost like $25 to get a small pizza delivered here because that's how delivery works now. It used to back in my day, you could get a pizza for like $10, and then you just tip the delivery person a normal amount of money, and now it's like an extra $10 worth of fees on top of that. Anyway, that's the rant you guys wanted tonight, right? We don't need to talk about what happens when you die. We can just talk about 10 years ago when pizza cost $10 less. Okay. I have to read the banana pudding thing because I did want it, and then the fan thing happened. Okay, I forgot to lift it on the counter when I bought it, so I couldn't eat it when I found it this morning. Oh, Hermes just told me about it for him, so now it's in his altar area. Love that. Yeah, I also want pizza now. I I can we can have pizza this weekend or something. Yeah, you'll buy pizza tomorrow. Great. See, this is great. Yeah, if I'm the Hermes radio, then you just tell me what you want, and everybody else who likes you, somebody will get you the thing that you want. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Lit. Just give them a couple bucks and it's fine. They're good. I did have one time that I forgot. I in college I bought pizza and I didn't put the tip on the check, or like I forgot to put the tip on the card, and I realized like 2 minutes before they were supposed to get there, and I ran through the entire house looking for all of the change, and this poor guy got so many dimes and quarters and things, but at least I gave him a reasonable tip. It did amount to a like acceptable amount of money. I don't remember how much it was. It was an acceptable amount of money to tip a delivery driver. It was just all in coins, and that that was a very Hermes adjacent moment to run around the entire house looking for every coin, and now like coins being one of the main things that they offer to Hermes. Anyway, while Loki's here rolling his eyes, yeah, you and Loki are gonna just be in a turf war forever, aren't you? Especially over there. It's like, especially at your place, Christina. They're just gonna be at each other's throats for the turf. I imagine Loki probably just wants a drink, no? Good. Get your pizza. Everybody go get pizza. or have pizza delivered within the next 24 to 48 hours. And then Hermes will be happy, right? Hermes? Oh my gosh. Eating his snacks that he procures himself, yeah. Okay, them being in separate rooms is a good move, but I'm kind of just saying like your entire place is probably they're both just like, but I live here now. Because like Loki makes sense that Loki would be like, but I live here. In the same way that it makes sense for Hermes here to be like, but I live here. Like, well, you don't, but you do, but you don't, but you do, but you don't. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's right. You have actual dinner time. I have late evening time. That was a weird time for me to be buying pizza. Even if a god asks for it. Typos are always abundant. Who cares? It's fine. Especially if it makes it slightly more amusing. Put them in separate bubbles. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Oof. I did. I'm so conflicted now because I did want to tell you guys what I channeled in for like the phases of death thing because it is interesting, but also I'm like we're so far off track now. I'm like we can just chat to Hermes, I guess, or like I don't fucking know live because whenever I attempt to control the live inevitably is required that the live go off track. And you know that's fine. I accept it. Yeah, being off track is fun. It's fine. This is not important information. I just thought it was interesting, but Loki isn't as dramatic, but they are both very relatively amusing in their own ways. Yeah, agreed. Chaos is generally acceptable, yeah. It is the thing that's been happening ever since starting to take ADHD medication is that when the ADHD medication wears off, I like remember how chaotic my normal brain is. And I get shocked. Like I go, "Oh, this was me all of the time before having ADHD meds? That's crazy. How did I do anything?" Six of Pentacles thoughts. I mean, I mean, yeah, what was the question? But Six of Pentacles, I do. I want to see it in your deck because I'm so big on the art being different in all the decks. But because I'm like, the art in my head right now, I think is actually the Three of Pentacles that I'm thinking of in my deck. So I'm like, I want to see, because I'm always down to just read it based off suit and number, but I'm like, I like using the art. It's more fun that way. Queenie, the Queen of Pentacles, I mean. That's 8. 8 is less fun. Oh. Poor kitty. Yeah. I have been thinking about... I will have sometimes... We still have our old family cat hanging around this house sometimes. And like his spirit. And he was always the most chill cat ever. And I'm always happy to see him, but I'm also just like, hey, what you doing here, bud? Like, why? You good? Like, because he's not here all the time. It's kind of rare that he's here, honestly. So I'm just like, I'm so glad that you're here, but if you could tell me why you're here, that'd be great. There we go. Oh, inverted Six of Pentacles? Oh, is different. Yeah. Thank you for sending it. That was I finally found it in mine, like at the time that I saw that you said that it was there. But strength with inverted Six of Pentacles. I mean, because the 6 is such a weird one, right? Like, since I have mine, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up. But like, because it is right heavy on the balancing, but it's also those like grabbing hands. So it's like it's a mixture of like giving money or giving resources and taking resources a little bit, and having it inverted next to strength like that. Does feel out of balance. Does feel... Yeah, it feels like an imbalance of resources in spite of continued growth. Not detrimental to you and your like situation overall, but not ideal. It's not an ideal time to be helping out anybody else either. That's what I got. Clarifies the inverted Fool. Got you. Yeah, that's what combo of tarot brain and just straight channeling gave me. So hopefully that helps. Makes sense? Okay, good. See, the pentacle is falling. That's fair. Yeah, especially in that iteration. Like these ones you mean are falling? Yeah. They are like they're balancing and they're being thrown out to the people, but also the people are grabbing at them. It's a weird, you know, mix. Yeah, no problem. I was like, we're not talking about anything else. We're just hanging out at this point. If you got any other questions, hit me. I mean, I do. The Page of Wands and the Inverted Fool is an interesting combo too. I mean, like, just because honestly, like, the Page of Wands to me feels like people talk about the hero's journey and stuff, and like the fool's journey in tarot, where like you start with the fool and you go through all of the major arcana, but like the Page of Wands feels almost exactly like the fool again to me. Page is your card. That's interesting, because if anything, I would assume that you would have been a knight, but I guess that's partially because I'm a knight in my deck. Because like normally, because the Page of Wands specifically has so much potential to be like that's one of the huge things that I see in it, right? Is I see the potential for dynamic action and um, leadership down the line and things like that. But in the present moment, the page is still it's like present and available, and it's a very like present moment kind of a card, like not in a mindfulness way, but in a action first kind of a way. And that kind of energy to me feels like the fool with a better background, right? um it because the fool is the fool, right? It has this implication of like whether or not the fool himself is like actually unintelligent. um the implication is that they're acting a fool regardless. Like even if they're incredibly intelligent, they aren't street smart, or vice versa, right? Even if they're incredibly street smart, they don't have book smarts, whatever. The fool is not ready for the journey they're about to go through, and that's why they need to go through it. But the Page of Wands has a much better upbringing, a much better like education, but still has that brashness and that sort of childlike in a good way energy that the fool has but doesn't know how to use. So I just think those two cards together are like a really interesting balance of each other. Especially, and I know like the fool is inverted in this case for you. So I mean, I'll let you. You didn't ask me to read the rest of it, so I'm just rambling because it's in front of me. But I find that to be a fun combination. That's all. Thought of that when looking at the cards. Yeah, exactly. How did you figure out what card represents yourself? Yeah, the whole card pull felt very stagnant. I would agree with that. Overall, like in spite of the fact that the tower is on top, it's like again, like this card pull feels like potential energy, not kinetic energy. Like it's not that it's stagnant, never moving. It's that it's stagnant, not moving yet. Um, so that's my take on that part. But yeah, so how did you find out what card represents yourself? I honestly, and this is the most unhelpful answer, don't remember. I don't think I asked. I think it was at a time, and it was while I was still at the very early stages of learning tarot. I I think the card must have just been like stalking me, like it kept coming out all the time, because especially I do tend to have a certain bias towards the court cards representing people. Uh, Generally, if a card's going to represent me or a friend or a family member or anything, it's probably going to be a court card or a major arcana. Some like ancestors and things will show up as different cards. Um, my card for one of my grandmothers is the Four of Swords, which is like the rest card, right? Uh, taking a break, sort of resetting your mind and your mental foundations, that kind of thing, which is an interesting card for her, but that was just the card that I pulled that card looking for her card, and that's the card that I got. But the card to represent me felt like much more of a journey to finding it. You could just pull a card and say what card represents me in my deck, but it was because the face cards are face cards, right? Like in a tarot deck, there are people on all the cards because it's not a playing card deck. But the court cards or the face cards are still the most representative of people. And almost every time that I'm reading anybody's cards, I will make an assumption that the court cards represent humans in their lives or spirits, usually people, unless I'm like otherwise directed in the reading by the person's guides that like, no, this is situational. This is not a person. This is a situation. But like the situation of the Knight of Swords, I was going to say the King, but I guess we're doing the Knight instead. The situation of the Knight of Swords is very fast paced in an unpleasant way. Like the Knight of Swords might be a really unruly kitchen, right? Like if like a big group of line cooks and a head chef and everybody, and it has to go fast and it has to go sharp and you can't fuck up, and there's literally knives everywhere. That would be a situational Knight of Swords, and that can make sense for somebody, but that's not going to apply to like most people's lives. So, generally speaking, a person who's the Knight of Swords might be more like. I don't know why this was the first thing that came to mind, but it was, so we're going with it. A person who's the Knight of Swords could be like an overbearing boyfriend, or a like middle manager. Like it's probably not your father because the father would if it was a father it would probably be the king. But Knight of Swords could also be like, a snarky brother or something like that. Like so, people are much easier to place as court cards, and situations are much easier to place as the minor arcana. Right, because obviously you've all heard me read Minor Arcana a million times, but like, again, if we were looking at the Six of Swords, if you really wanted to pinpoint a person who was the Six of Swords, you could do it. I might look at like the treasurer of a club or like community group. Like we would not be talking like the treasurer of the United States of America kind of thing. Like we would not be talking about the head of the treasury or anything like that. We would be talking about somebody who has control over finances and control over distributing money on a lower scale, right? And where like if we were doing a reading where talking about government officials could be making any kind of sense in that context, then I would expect it would have to be like the King of Pentacles to be the head of the treasury or something like that, So it's much more natural to have the face cards, the court cards, be people, and it's much more natural to have the minor arcana be situations, and the major arcana can kind of do anything, right? Again, the Fool can be a person, the Fool can be a situation, the Fool could be yourself, etc., etc. But like the Tower as a person, I'm sure we can all think of one right now in particular, but generally speaking, the tower is not a person unless the reading is for you and you get like, what am I in this situation, and you are the tower for somebody else, right? It's all context dependent. It's all why I'm like, this is why a huge part of my readings is talking to your guides, because I all of the context that I have for anybody in, I remembered you saying that. That's part of why I mentioned it. But like a lot of the context that I have in readings, whether because I've done a number of readings for both of you guys, but especially when I'm doing a reading for a stranger, the context that I have, and I like it this way, right? Is most readers do. The context that I have is what's in the cards, and any other information that I'm getting, like I can get it from you, from the person I'm reading, but it's going to be probably better, more accurate, and more useful information if I get it from your guides. So the guides can be the ones who would tell me if there's a weird situation where a court card is a situation instead of a person, or a major arcana is a situation instead of a person, or right. And like a lot of major arcana I associate with deities, but also I do associate like the King of Pentacles with Hades and the Queen of Pentacles with Persephone, right? So all of that is in context, and I'm the kinds of questions that I'm asking to your guides in a reading are, is this card a person? Is this card a situation? Is this a situation like we're looking at like past, present, future? Like, is this a past situation or a future situation? Those are the kinds of questions, clarifiers, and things that I'm asking to the guides to make sure that I get the most honed in reading for anybody in a certain situation. So there's my rant on that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and agreeing with the card stalking you and just knowing that it meant me. Yeah. I wish that there were an easier way to validate. I'll say the thing that I always say is, if you're ever curious, if a card, like, if you want the clarification of like, is this card me, pendulum or dowsing rods or whatever. I just knocked my pendulum into my watch. Hopefully there's not a scratch, but there's already some scratches on it, so it's kind of fine. But like, so in my deck is my card the Knight of Pentacles. Circles means yes. Yay! Now, here's a funny thing. Am I sometimes also represented by the Hermit? Circles. Yes. So I do kind of have two cards. And like, my higher self technically has a card, but like most of the time when I do a reading, it's not about him. It's about me. So I'm not looking for his card, I'm looking for my card or cards. So I kind of have two, but realistically, like, is the Knight of Pentacles more accurate as my representation, the card that represents me most of the time? Yeah, I couldn't even. I knew I was asking the question, but I couldn't get the words out. But that's like a strong yes. It's a much stronger yes than both of the yeses I just got. So, if you want to know, pull some cards, see what comes out, and if one feels right or if you think maybe this is it and you're not sure, get your pendulum, check it that way. Please do not. My computer is on the edge of my desk, and I do not want you to step on it and knock it off of my desk. Okay, little one? Is that okay with you to not knock my computer off my desk? No? Please do not go back on my desk. You can sit here. Yeah? Okay. I'm glad you appreciate the rant. It's what we're here for. when I come in with the plan of a semi-academic spiritual topic to talk about, the plan becomes let's talk about this instead. So I'm glad that this is appreciated. I do just like now um I mean I have a guess for what your card would be, Lid. If I have to be so for real, I have a guess. I would normally put my hand under it, but do you want me to ask? I should ask that before I do this. Do you want me to check if my. I also don't have to say it out loud. I could ask quietly and just text you later, but I'm like, I can assume what card might represent you. No, it's a rose quartz. It's just when it's back here, it's a little hard to see what's going on. It's a pretty pale rose quartz too, and the light is warm enough that it almost looks like white, but it is pink. It's just hard to tell. It's a light pink rose quartz. I don't know why rose quartz for pendulums just works for me, but it does. This is not my only pendulum. I love my other pendulum, and this one is slightly broken. Little broken. But still works just fine. Focus. 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 It's kind of focused. You can see. That's better. So yeah, like this one's a little broken. My other one is not broken. But I don't know. I like them both. This one stays on my desk more regularly. The other one is hidden away somewhere. I did just get a little bit of my blanket tuft in there, but that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it works for me aside from Aphrodite associations. I would assume. I have had 3 pendulums. I think maybe 4, and any pendulum I've used that wasn't a rose quartz. I've used a copper one before. I did like using a copper one, but I didn't buy it. But yeah, copper and rose quartz are the 2 pendulums I've ever used that I actually did like and like felt good. I had a plain quartz pendulum for a while, and it was fine. I liked it. It just didn't hit. Just didn't hit. We are coming up on an hour. I was thinking I could go get our usual book, which I did not think to bring over here before I started the live, or my cats knocked my copy of the Odyssey off of my bookshelf. So I could just do our bibliomancy with the Odyssey, or I could go get the Dao De Jing. So what do you guys want? It's a reading for you guys, so as much as if not more than it is for me. So y'all let me know which book you want. I have Copper, Sunstone, and Moonstone. Nice. Yeah, I do love Sunstone and Moonstone. They're both gorgeous. Moonstone is more my vibe, but oh, Bubby. Cat is playing with tripod. Yeah, I was like, I feel like I'm feeling Odyssey too. I feel like that's the move. Yeah, cool. Okay. I do still have to get up and get the book because it is behind my camera right now. So, un segundo, por favor. And I will scare the cat away from shaking the tripod anymore. Oof. Yeah, blue goldstone. I had one of my favorite when I was a kid. I had some goldstone, sunstone, whatever. I guess both. That I loved. It was like my favorite rock. But nowadays, I'm more of a fluorite, labradorite, amethyst, rose quartz kind of a person. But Blue Goldstone, also very pretty, very gorgeous, very nice, very nice. Okay. Let's see what's up with Odysseus that applies to us on this fine day, post Ares Ingress a few days ago and everything else. And you guys know the drill. We're doing bibliomancy, general energetic affirmation of yes, I want to be a part of this. I would like to be included in the reading today. Yes, sir, indeed, yes. And then we'll get it going. Hermes is still just like standing there, standing in the air, staring at me, like tap tap tap. I can't get you pizza right now. He's like, the coffee, the decaf coffee. Okay, we will split the decaf coffee after the live is done. Okay. What do we need to hear for the next few days? Oh no. Okay. I'm just going to read the whole paragraph. Or this might be 2 paragraphs. Let's see. Okay. So spoke Telemachus, but Pallas Athene woke uncontrollably in the suitors. She turned their wits awry. Now they would laugh as if with others' faces. The blood bedabbled was the flesh they ate. Their eyes were filled with tears, their hearts felt anguish, and godlike. Yeah, that's fine. With that, the next thing just goes into the next paragraph. Pallas Athene woke uncontrollable laughter in the suitors. She turned their wits awry. Now they would laugh as if with others' faces. Their eyes filled with tears. Their heart felt anguish and godlike. And yeah. Yeah. That's a bit of that's like a threat. That's like a threat to have a better time. It's like a threat to have a good time, but also to feel your feelings and like things are complicated. This is hard and kind of bad. But you literally have to laugh. You've been forced to laugh. The situation is so bad. That's a crazy take. But it's Athena. Whoa. My computer just decided to do something crazy. Okay. Okay. That's intense. We did choose the Odyssey. The Odyssey has some intensity in it. What is... yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just read the next thing, so... I can't read any of these freaking names. I have never actually finished reading the Odyssey because, like, how? It's so hard to get all the names and everything, but... Excuse me. Their eyes filled with tears, their hearts felt anguish, and godlike Theoclymenus addressed them thus. Ah, wretched men, what woe befalls you? Night shrouds your heads, your faces, and lowers still your knees. Wild cries are kindled, cheeks are wet with tears, walls and the fair mid-spaces drip with blood, the pouch is full, the cord is full, of shapes that haste to Erebus, down into darkness. The sun is blotted from the heavens, a foul fog covers all. It's so not optimistic, but also I totally get it. Yeah, sometimes you gotta laugh through the tears. Sometimes sometimes the fog is just, the cloudy fog of everything is just there, and there's nothing you can do about it. and you just gotta laugh. You just gotta let it release it somehow, because yeah, exactly. Just ease up. Uh, it's not. A part of me is like, I should have gone and gotten the other book that has better, clearer messages, but I'm like, also this kind of fits because it was this part, like, right, that I just read. Wretched men, what woe befalls you? Night shrouds your heads, your faces, and lower still your knees. The sun is blotted from the heavens, a foul fog covers all. Right, I just cut out the entire middle section. But it's just like, there is still a lot that is unknown. We are all under a certain amount of influence that we can't help. Like, in the space of, like, social media and everything, literal influencers. In the space of traditional media, influence in that fashion. In the space of news and everything else, we are influenced by the things that we hear and the things that are discussed openly and outwardly, and by the things that are not discussed outwardly or that are no longer discussed. That obscuration is all intentional. It is all part of what we're all dealing with, in that there are so many things happening that we cannot observe them all, and we are most likely to observe the things that are the most recent. And yeah, Athena putting a spell on everybody to make them laugh through the pain is not necessarily in a kind-hearted way. It's not in a kind-hearted way, but it is kind of necessary. It is part of the spell of the times and the problems, but it is also a little bit just like, just lighten up. In our context, not in this context, but in our context, just lighten up a bit. There's too much to worry about. What a reading. Wow. That was a crazy crazy way to end the live. Do you guys want to talk about something else for like 3 minutes? That's not the Odyssey and that insane reading. I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna put this back on my bookshelf since my cats decided to knock it off. It's right next to my copy of the Mabinogion, which honestly, equally as epic, could have maybe given us a better thing, but that's fine. Ugh. Let's pull a card. Let's pull any card. Just maybe give us a clarifier on all that, because that was intense. The color purple. I have not read or watched the thing, but I do like the color purple. The color. Big fan of purple. There we go. Strength. Battle through it. You're in more control than you think you are. Would you stop focusing on her face and show the whole card, please? There we go. That's better. Yeah. I like that I asked it to do that, and then it actually did so. Yeah, I know. At some point I should watch it. I know. But yeah. I love this, as I know that it was literally in your reading earlier. It was part of the reading that we were looking at. But just like, as a general rule, to round out how intense that was and all of the mess that it was, but also all the mess that all this is, have some personal strength and have some of your own ability to like trust yourself and your own power. You gotta, yes, thank you, Hermes, for the camera help, for sure. It's just, yeah. We're not helpless. We're just stuck here. So we might as well do what we can about it, and that has a certain amount of self-care implications and a certain amount of outward implications. So, I like this card for this too. I'm happy with that. I'm happy and willing to end the live on that note. Thank you guys for joining me. Thanks for coming back, even though it's been a while. I should be able to get back on a schedule. I'm not going to blame Mercury retrograde for me being off schedule because that was definitely not the only reason. But there was just a lot going on and it was just a difficult time. So we're back. Gonna do my best to make it next week. Thanks for joining me tonight. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys. And I will see you all next time. Have a good night, folks. Bye-bye.